Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into a specific piece of kit, the Kramer TAVOR-6-O. It's a 6.5-inch on-wall powered speaker system. Our job, as always, is to cut through the specs and pull out what really matters strategically about this setup. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and maybe before we jump right into the tech specs, let's talk context for you. Kramer, they're a big global AV name. Been around a while, and these are sold via HDTV Supply. They've got that exceptional top quality store rating from Google since way back in 2003.
Okay, so a stable player and a reputable seller. That matters for support down the line.
Exactly. It suggests reliability, not just in the product, but in getting help if you need it. Crucial for business installs.
Right. So let's get into the hardware itself. It's a pair of speakers, 6.5-inch woofer, 1-inch tweeter. But the key thing is this passive setup, right?
That's the core of it, yeah. One speaker, the active one designated for the left, has the amplifier built right in. It puts out stereo 2x50 watts RMS or 2x140 watts continuous program.
140 watts program per channel. That feels like quite a bit for just background music.
Well, yeah, it likely is. That kind of power suggests Kramer's aiming these at maybe presentation spaces where you need high SPL, or perhaps slightly noisier environments like classrooms, places needing real volume.
And that built-in amp explains the weight difference, I guess. That's a detail that caught my eye in the docks.
Absolutely. You can literally feel where the electronics are. The active speaker is, about 3.6 kilos? Almost 8 pounds.
Yeah, versus the passive one at 2.7 kilos, just under 6 pounds. Clear difference.
That's your physical sign right there. All the power components are packed into that left unit.
Okay, but putting all the power on one side? Does that cause issues sending the amplified signal to the other passive speaker, especially over distance?
That's a fair point. Kramer seems to tackle that partly through the input options. What's kind of interesting here is the variety. You get your standard unbalanced RCA, yeah, and the 3.5mm mini jack everyone knows.
Consumer stuff, okay.
But crucially, they've also included a balanced input on a terminal block connector. That terminal block really signals, okay, this is meant for proper permanent installs, handles those longer cable runs better, reduces noise.
Gotcha. And what about controlling these? I see volume, treble, bass controls mentioned, and this auto power function sounds important for efficiency.
Oh, definitely. That's big for facilities managers watching the energy bills. It drops to a really low standby power, just half a watt when there's no signal. And maybe even more useful for the integrator, it only needs about 12 millivolts of signal to wake back up.
12 millivolts. That's tiny. So pretty much any standard line level source turning on will reliably kick the speakers into action.
Exactly. You don't need dedicated trigger ports or anything complicated. It's just work automatically with most systems.
And physically. Anything else stand out? Magnetic shielding? Bass reflex?
Yeah, the magnetic shielding is interesting. Less common now, but still usable if you have older CRT monitors or sensitive gear nearby. And they mention enhanced bass reflex. Basically, it means they've tuned the port to get decent low end down to 50 hertz, they claim, without making the speaker box itself too deep. Keeps that on-wall profile neat.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. What about the buying side? The documentation mentions price. We see $368 marked down from an MSRP of $460, plus potentially another 10% off. Seems pretty competitive positioning.
It does. That pricing feels like they're actively trying to grab market share. And they back it up with the support package, too. Free shipping. Okay, that's nice. A standard 1-year warranty. But the free lifetime technical support via phone, chat, text, email, even fax. That's quite a commitment.
Lifetime support is definitely a strong selling point. Shows they stand behind it.
It really does. It suggests confidence in the product's longevity and reliability.
So pulling it all together, what's the takeaway here? What are we looking at? It sounds like a pretty robust, self-contained audio solution for wall mounting. Powerful, flexible inputs, efficient, designed for professional integration.
That sums it up well, I think. It's built for those specific install scenarios. But, thinking about those specs, it does raise an interesting question, especially for acoustically tricky rooms.
Like what?
Well, consider the crossover frequency they list 8 kilohertz. It's quite high, and the vertical dispersion is 54 degrees at 2 kilohertz. It makes you wonder about the trade-offs. Is this setup really prioritizing, say, super clear voice intelligibility across a narrow band, or is it trying for wider coverage despite that high crossover?
Right. How does that specific acoustic signature compare to maybe ceiling speakers in the same small room? They disperse sound differently.
Exactly. How does Kramer